everyone. Salutations. So today we are going to study about EDI. EDI stands for Electronic Data Interchange. Now please observe this diagram carefully. It shows order processing without EDI software and order processing with EDI software. EDI software is generally purchased and installed by business organizations for communication between their trading partners. Now, the companies will definitely have communication with other companies, their trading partners. Okay, so for this easy communication, they are going to use EDI software, which uses internet connectivity for communication of messages as well as transportation of documents like invoice, purchase order, sales order, etc. Okay, that means business related communication is done with the help of EDI software. Now, there may be some softwares in the market which are freeware, okay, and some softwares maybe you have to pay for it, but that depends upon the business organization what kind of software, freeware software or paid ones they want to use. It depends upon them. Okay, so, but that's very clear. We can see if EDI software is not used, order processing, a simple task of order processing is such a long chain. Okay, you can read buyer generates the purchase order, buyer sends it to the supplier, supplier receives the purchase order, then supplier enters the invoice into their system, means into their computer, then they create invoice, then invoice is sent to the buyer, enters that invoice data into its computer. Okay, so a long chain, but if you install a EDI software, what is going to happen? It is a two-way communication. Okay, so at one side you can see buyer and the other side you can see the seller. Okay, and EDI also supports ERP, that is Enterprise Resource Planning software. Now that is a different lesson. We will talk about that also. So EDI also has support of ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. What is Enterprise Resource Planning? It is also a software which helps to take business decisions, not only business decisions, it also helps to manage all the departments of an organization, an enterprise. Okay, manage the data centrally. Okay, and exchange of data from departments to departments. Now, ERP is generally supported with EDI feature. What EDI does? Business communication not inside the enterprise or organization, outside the enterprise. Okay, when there are two enterprises and if they want to have some communication, they have to use the EDI feature. Okay, and ERP focuses more inside the organization, exchange of data inside the organization. Okay, but they have features of each other. ERP software will have some features of EDI. Okay, so the enterprise can have communication with other enterprises. Okay, EDI stands for electronic data interchange. Now let's discuss theoretically what's explained in the textbook. Okay, so EDI is the electronic interchange of business information using a standardized format. So all the messages, that means all the messages which are exchanged between the business organization, they have a standardized format. Okay, that's why it says EDI is the electronic interchange. Which kind of interchange? Electronic, because it uses electronic medium. Electronic interchange of business information using a standardized format. Just like we are aware that invoice has a specific format, okay, of data entry. Likewise, EDI is a process which allows to send one company information to another company electronically rather than on paper. Okay, so EDI focuses communication between the companies. And if we talk about ERP helps in communication within the departments of a single company. Okay, and EDI is about communication between different companies. So EDI is a process which allows to send one company information to another electronically rather than on paper. Okay. So data nowadays we believe in cashless transactions. So we generally do not keep lot of cash at home. Okay, whenever needed, we have some cash. Okay, otherwise we pay online. Okay, so similarly, the exchange of data is also done electronically nowadays. So lot of printouts, lot of paperwork is not expected to be done. Everything happens, uh, data is generated and sent electronically. Data is also received electronically, and the data is stored in some cloud storage. Okay, or in the memory of the computers. Okay, however you want. If the data is stored in the cloud storage, you can download whenever you want. And if you have it in your system that is offline, you can access the data offline. You do not need special internet connectivity to access your data every now and then. So that depends upon people how they want to save their data. But one thing is sure, it helps to do paperless transaction. EDI is known to provide paperless transaction. Okay. Third point, it is computer to computer exchange of strictly formatted documents via telecommunication or physically transported on electronic storage media. So same thing, some kind of documents will be exchanged between the companies with the help of telecommunication facility, or the data will be sent and stored in electronic storage media like your computer storage media. Okay. Next point, business entities conducting businesses electronically are called trading partners. Business entities conducting business electronically are called trading partners. Okay. Now, last point, many business documents like purchase order and invoices can be exchanged electronically using EDI. So these are the two type of documents. Not only these two, other documents like sales order or any other message of confirmation, message of initiation of any process, everything can be done with the help of EDI. So they have given two examples like purchase order, invoices. These are authentic documents of transaction. So they can be exchanged with the help of EDI between the companies. Okay, two or more companies electronically. So that was about EDI. So this is mentioned in the textbook. Now, these are some benefits of EDI. It's not given in the textbook, but you can definitely consider why companies should use EDI software, because it reduces inventory cost. Okay, means how much data we have to maintain, how much records we have to maintain. Everything is available in a single software. Formats are ready, just enter the data. No need to prepare separate documents. Now, if you do not have such softwares, EDI softwares, you have to use MS Office or any other office software, office suite, and use Excel sheet to maintain the data. Okay, that means it is just a tool. You have to develop the format and then maintain the data. Okay, but these softwares are ready with the formats, just enter the data. So the time is reduced, errors are also reduced. Second advantage you can see, second benefit you can see, decreased errors. Okay, so whenever we are using any software, okay, mm, I cannot say 100% error will be there, 100% error will not be there, sorry, but that depends upon the person who is entering the data. The person who is entering the data should enter it correctly. Okay, if data entry is faulty, definitely the result will not be correct. But most of the errors are already taken care by the software, so you can have an advantage of decreased errors. Next is return of investment is increased return of investment, ROI. Definitely, if you are purchasing an EDI software, installing, and definitely a software installation, just install and forget about it. It's not that. Employees have to be trained. So for training also you have to bear some expenses. For maintenance of the software you have to bear some expenses. But when the transactions are done so smoothly, okay, quickly, error free, then that is return of investment. Okay, so return of investment increases, performance also increases. Okay, and in that manner profit also increases. Next is enhanced visibility. Because the software has its own structured format, visibility, how the data is stored, how the reports are getting prepared, okay, all these things are quite clear, very, very clear. So, enhanced visibility. Next is improved operational efficiency. Operational efficiency, how to manage each and every department, manage all the communication. So that comes under operation of the business. So operation also improves. Okay. Because you have a software to manage everything for you. You just have to maintain correct data. That's it. The rest all calculations, preparation of reports, transportation of report, everything is done automatically if you have internet connectivity. That's all. Increased accuracy, definitely. If there is reduction in error, you will have accurate transactions. So, increased accuracy. So, these are the benefits. You can remember why EDI software is important for business organization. And EDI softwares are mostly applicable to B2B. We have studied about B2B model, business to business. So, business entities who do communication related to business, they are known as trading partners. Okay, we have studied that point. Now this is also not given in the textbook, but we must know how EDI is applicable in day-to-day life, how it is applicable in business organizations. So these are some softwares, some popular softwares, okay, which are EDI softwares. Companies can install this. Okay, now next we are going to study about e-governance. So, electronic governance. E stands for electronic. It signifies implementation of information technology. That means governance. Governance is the procedure. Government is going to use some mechanism to do their work. Okay, so that mechanism is known as governance. And to help that governance, they are going to use information technology, all the technologies, latest technologies they are going to use, so that this governance it becomes more and more smart. Because wherever information technology has its application, that particular thing becomes smart. Okay, earlier it was a telephone, then technology improved, and now we have smartphones. Who imagined at that time? Okay, who would have imagined a simple telephone will now become a smartphone? That means wherever, in whichever field there is implementation of information technology, that field will become smarter and smarter. Okay, so let's read the definition given in the textbook. It signifies implementation of information technology in government processes and functions to cause simple, moral, accountable, and transparent governance. Okay, so we have government websites. Many departments of government have their portals. You can check the portals and find lot of data. Okay, so that is known as transparency in governance. With the help of data, we can understand how much the government is working for us and how much it needs to work more. So, wherever improvement, there is scope of improvement, we can inform. So, implementation of information technology in the government processes. so that the function becomes simple, moral, accountable, and transparent governance. Okay. The second point says the basic purpose of e-governance is to simplify processes for all, that is government, citizens, businesses, etc. Okay. So e-governance is going to help whom? It's going to help government itself as well as citizens and businesses at national level, state level, and local levels, helping to deliver smart government. So, SMART, acronym SMART, they have explained. S stands for simple, M for moral, A for accessible, R for responsive, and T for transparent government. Okay, so most of these terms are already given in the definition. You can see first point. Okay, advantages of e-governance. Now, these advantages are not discussed in detail, but you can definitely um, elaborate if it is asked in exam. If it is a 4 mark question, so definitely for 4 mark question you cannot write single heading points for 4 marks or 3 marks question. Okay, so you have to elaborate one line for every heading point, and they are easy. Reduced corruption. Okay, so you can write e-governance helps transparency to show transparency in the work, and hence it reduces corruption in that manner. High transparency, so the data is available on the websites, because of which there is high transparency. In this manner you can explain. Increased convenience, so now people do not have to visit the offices actually for lot of purpose. Okay, if you want to pay online bill, electricity bill, okay, if you want to pay electricity bill nowadays, you can just pay it online. You don't have to go to the office physically, carry the cash. Okay, all these things are not needed nowadays. So lot of task has become of online. Okay, so online tasks are very convenient for the citizen. It saves time as well as transportation charges. Okay, direct participation of constituents. Okay, so nowadays you have definitely see, due to this pandemic situation, government organization they have a constant online meeting. Okay, every now and then they have some online meeting, and even judgments, courts, okay, they have virtual judgments. So imagine information technology is used so vastly during this pandemic situation, and it is quick actually. Physically you don't have to go to that particular place to attend a meeting. You can be anywhere anytime and you can attend the meeting also. All right, so that is direct participation of constituents. Reduction in overall cost. Okay, definitely transportation charges are not at all needed. Okay, overall cost can be reduced with the help of that internet. Now internet is available easily. 4G connectivity is there, but 4G connectivity is not available in every part of India. Rural areas do not have 4G connectivity. Okay, so definitely improvement can be done. This scaling up of internet, it can be scaled up to the rural areas also, so that everybody can have all these advantages. Then expand reach of government with the help of websites, social media. Okay, lot of advertisements can be done. People can be made aware of many campaigns, and hence government can expand its reach. Okay, so let's go through the points once again. Advantages of e-governance: reduce corruption, high transparency, increase convenience, direct participation of constituents, reduction in overall cost, and expand reach of government. Okay, so today we will just have an introduction of types of e-governance, and in next video we will discuss in detail each type. So there are 4 types of e-governance. Just we had 4 types of e-commerce. four types or four models of e-commerce were B2B, B2C, C2B, and C2C. Similarly, there are four parties involved over here. Okay, and communication between each of them. Okay, meaningful communication will be known as some or the other type of e-governance. Who are these four participants? Citizens, employees, government, business. Okay, see here, citizen four corners. See the four corners: citizens, employees, government, and business. And they have also mentioned individual. Who are individuals? Citizens can be individuals, employees can be individuals, and opposite to that, organization. Who can be organization? Businesses can be organization, as well as governments are also organizations. Internal and external. Now, communication between citizens and not communication exactly. Citizens and businesses, they are external type, means government. Now here you can see interaction of government and employees, so that is internal. Okay, there are various government portals which are available only for government employees. Government portals available only for government employees. Not, I'm not talking about private employees over here. Okay, so when we talk about employees, let's consider only the government employees. So that communication is internal. Okay, and communication of government with businesses and citizen is external. In that manner, this diagram everything sums up. And in next video we will discuss about, see here, I hope so you are able to see this central cloud which represents e-government. When it has communication or involvement with citizens, with the help of what? With the help of internet, with the help of information technologies. When e-government has communication with citizens, it is known as G2C. That means government to citizen. When government has communication with its employees, with its government employees, then it is known as government to employees. Third is when there is communication within the government. Okay, in India specifically, we have a hierarchical arrangement. Okay, there is local board, there are local bodies, then we have state government and central government. Okay, so communication and exchange of data between these government agencies will be known as government to government. Not only that, different countries, when they have communication, for example, India and Japan, government of India and government of Japan, when they have communication using a common kind of software which is made only for government communication, that is also known as G2G. So domestic as well as foreign government. I hope so that's clear. When there is communication between domestic government as well as foreign government, that is known as G2G or government to government. Let's talk about government and business organizations. When government and business organizations, okay, now business organizations, we definitely consider them private. Mostly they are private organizations. So when they have communication and exchange of data with the help of internet, so they will, that will be known as government to business. And there is no confusion in the order. Everywhere G, G2C, G2E. Okay, so everywhere you have to mention government first and then the next party. For example, G2C, G2E, G2G. G2G is the simplest. Okay, both are governments. And G2B. Everywhere G is first, that is government is first. So first of all you have to mention the government and then the rest all parties. Which are the rest all participants over here? Citizens, employees, government, okay, and business. So I'll stop here, and in next video we will discuss about them detail, all of these types. So thank you. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for viewing, liking, subscribing the channel. Thank you. And definitely videos will keep coming. Okay. And please suggest your comments, and your comments actually mean a lot to me, and it encourages me to work more. So thank you. Thank you for everything. Take care, everyone.